One's just basically straight, and the other one's almost completely rotated. Well, here we go. So it is a journey of discovery, and it starts on Dust2. Fnatic Rocker will have the flashbangs and a defuse kit for the CT side. He is not in position to offer some flashes for his teammates. In the meantime, we've got Fenvicious, who's made his way through the B halls already. So there'll be a two-man hold of the long position, while the three Gambit youngsters players of the four that remain charge up the short position. We've got Fnatic Rocker going back towards CT spawn. So again, still not really in a location where he can really use this utility that he's got for his team. But they're looking to flank up the short position, and Inters is trying to hold it down on his own. He's not going to last very long, though. And Long is still in possession of Robin, who's now flanking the flank on towards short. I don't know if he'll get there in time, but the bomb has been planted in the meantime. They've planted it for short, trying to retake it with Nafany. That hasn't quite worked out, so they don't have the angles to stop the defuse from coming in. And then the 1 versus 3, Axel's surely going to get baited out into the open, trying to find one headshot, but Fnatic Rocker will be the man to do it. 3 men survivors, Unique take the pistol round.
Yeah, certainly a good start for them. And on Dust2, there's nothing that you don't quite ever feel quite as secure on any other map as securing that CT pistol. I feel like on maybe like Nuke is another one where like once you get it, you're like, oh, thank God, because it's not as bad as it used to be because where the economy has changed. You're not going to be reset as hard, but on the CT side of Dust2, if you don't have full buys, if you don't have the option to be able to go for double orbs when you want them, like very early on, it can get uncomfortable quickly, and it's very much more difficult for teams who aren't expert Dust2 players and teams to work with just rifles and no AWPs and lacking utility and so on. So we get the eco around here, but you can see the mid rush is not really going to do all that much. They'll be running into their doom, and it's a case of finishing them off, and there it is. Everyone is down, and a quick 2-0. That's how we like it. Quick eco round.
See what they have to offer in the next round. There was some AWP talk on a desk as well. We'll look for that when the full buys come in. Or maybe we won't have to wait that long because Shiro's gone for it immediately naked with the big green gun. Unless he's gone for a skin, of course. And the round's just about to start. Yeah, thank you. Bit late on the eco frag replays there. Ooh. Shiro gets taken out from range. Maybe he would have survived if he had a helmet. Who knows? Maybe there would have been a follow-up bullet. We will never know. Maybe the AWP will get rescued. Inters perhaps looking for it, or maybe just looking to keep these CTs honest. We'll see how curious they get. The bomb's still in spawn. Inters making some steps now that Passionage will hear. Up close with the MP9. Passionage will have the shadow advantage if there's no pop flash for this position. As you can see, the sun will be conceding Inters' position should he try to go through these doors. So always good to try and use these positions with a bit of pre-fire. So let's see what they choose to do. Hopefully it won't be crab walking in. Looks like it might be setting up for maybe some smokes towards the corner of long. Oh dear, and that's why you can easily flash this position and just make this safer. There are 3 of the players there, but they won't do it. And it might cost them. Passionage will go down in the flames, but he has delayed, and there's a lot of rifles to be collected, and there are 2 CTs there to collect them.
Love how there was like nowhere to go after he threw his own Molotov, but nice fade away from Inters to defend against Robin, and that will mean now that he can pretty much go anywhere he wants with that bomb. And Fnatic Rocker is stuck with the scout and without the knowledge. Although he may gain that knowledge right now, indeed. He hears the running up catwalk, so he has 2 options. Either he goes up the slope back towards the elevator, or he goes towards catwalk. And I think, of course, this is the more preferable scenario to go for. And looking for the headshot, can't quite find it there. And Super will take him down. So there it is, the first round on the board for Gambit's youngsters. And I have to say, I don't know when I've ever seen a CT run through the double doors and take a duel against an AWPer on the T side with and he has an M4 and he wins that duel. I don't think I've ever seen that, James.
Yeah, not something you see every day.
Who would dare?
At all. I do wonder if he has the awareness that he's probably got no Kevlar, or if he's just crazy.
I think it must have been that he's just in a position where it's like, I might as well take a shot and maybe just hit like a really insane shot.
See how much warning you get with the shadow coming out before the man goes through those doors. up close with an MP9. That's basically the perfect scenario. That's the best possible scenario you could ask for, say, for just flanking somebody. With an MP9, you have the angle, you have the warning, you have a fast-firing gun, and there's no flash walking into a meat grinder, giving up the rifles. It's an early warning for Gambit, so let's see if they can correct those issues later on, should they have an opportunity to arise again. Never be too careful.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, it was odd how that round kind of turned around. You know, it's going to be a journey of discovery for us with a lot of these teams, as we never get to see them.
What is that plushy thing on the second from right monitor? It looks like a mushroom or some kind of like discolored hammer or something. Because I feel like we're not seeing as many plushies as we used to, let's say 3-4 years ago. But every now and then one pops up, but I can't figure out what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out as well.
What do you guys think it is on the internet? Send Dan tweets what you think that plushie is.
Oh, is that a wire or a shadow that's also making it
there's
harder
a panda.
to tell?
So we've got a panda on the Gambit youngsters. If you guys like pandas, make your way to Chengdu in China. There's lots of pandas in that area, as well as spicy food, should you be so inclined.
Pandas might. I don't know how the panda population is doing, but they may not even be with us very long. So yeah, perhaps you should get.
Well, it's kind of self-destructive at this point. You know.
Well, they don't. They want to die out, James, but we're not letting them.
No.
I mean, if they're not, you know.
If they can't be asked.
If they can't be asked to get it on, or even like eat food, like eat the only one food that they like. Okay, let's not get into pandas right now. Let's save the pandas.
Damn, Dan's triggered about pandas.
Yeah, man. Anyway, we have ourselves a quick cat push coming from Fen Vicious, and here comes a flashbang. It's gone past him. They're not going to be looking towards top mid. This is interesting. He's going to get a free one. Will he turn around? Oh, well, eventually he will, but there's no trade from Fnatic Rocker. He's going to come in. Okay, I'm glad that he didn't commit to that. He was a little bit too late to try to go for a trade, but it ends up being a 1-for-1. I'm not really sure if that really helps Team Unique too much, though.
I can see what they're doing. They're basically giving Gambit youngsters absolutely no respect. I think based on the sheer level of matches that they haven't played, they're just trying to put them in the most uncomfortable positions possible, where they're not going to have the experience to know how to make quick decisions to deal with this or that, which is why we're seeing constant aggression, but you still have to get the headshots, because if you don't, then you're going to start to have problems. And, you know, if you think of like classic strategy, really, as a CT side, you want to get more aggressive when you've got more money, because if it goes wrong, you don't really have anything to fall back on, which is the situation that Unique are in, not having lost 2 players in this position. They have taken some position towards B, though, and that's a nice response we see from them. There's a play to deal with in CT spawn, and they'll do that as well. Now, they know the last player was towards B, and Super is outside the B tunnels. So they know where the CT could be and where he definitely isn't, and they'll make their way towards the B bomb site. So we're seeing a proactive Gambit youngsters in that respect. They're using the information wisely. So Unique needs to be careful. Again, it's a best of one. They're trying to abuse their advantages as a more experienced team, but if you don't have any money, then it's hard to do that. Yeah,
they're kind of pushing a lot there after losing that first player when they were down a man. And that's actually why Dust2 is so difficult, because unless you have setups, like for example, unless Robin was coming in with a flashbang, you know, if there's a flashbang for him to peek with, to be aggressive with, then okay, it's a slightly different story. But we get these solo pushes, and that can really create problems on a map like Dust2. You'll often see the experienced teams, they'll throw in like 1 or 2 rounds where they'll be aggressive. But generally speaking, what they'll do instead is they'll gamble stack. They'll stack 3 rifles towards the B bomb site and then play 2 towards A, and that's one of the more common ways they'll do it. So we do get the boost here, and of course, if you are on the T side and you're playing a default, often what teams like to do is they'd like to do a boost themselves, because you know, if you on the T side are boosting from lower dark, you actually beat this position very consistently. And so that's a great counterplay. But there's no one towards lower dark here for Gambit youngsters, which, you know, it seems like they're committing into this A play straight away in the anti-eco, which I love. I think this is a great way to do it.
Supra's position is cool. You can smoke the cross from this position, and a smoke that lands in CT spawn, which Alex used to throw for LDLC, where I first saw it. But obviously, it's also important for cutting off a rotation, although it doesn't seem to be doing that. Looking at the radar, Fnatic Rocker's made his way up, so that quite hasn't worked out. And this smoke could be very awkward. You can see distraction being run. There's a creep through the smoke, but he deals with that. In the meantime, things are looking good on the A-bomb side. There's a gap in the smoke, but everybody's dead, Dan, and everyone's alive for Gambit youngsters.
Yep.
So they use the time afforded to them, and it was all good in the hood. A best of one can be very dangerous when you have no data on your opponent, and I think Unique need to remember that. Maybe having no respect for the youngsters. I guess it's gone wrong already, but perhaps, well, we'll see if Gambit youngsters have earned their respect. Team Unique aren't really necessarily perfectly equipped to show us that just yet. Passionage on the MP9, a lack of utility, but so they may get aggressive once again, just to make up for those facts.
Do you test this angle, Mr. Undo? Well, maybe Shiro is just going to force the issue then. Oh, has he got this one? Is there going to be a jiggle? Yeah, there it is. Undo picks the perfect timing there. Shiro, that's a hard shot for him, especially with his teammates in the way. And nice defensive smoke coming in from Undo, and they are going to abandon this push. And interestingly, we do get the reaction from Team Unique. They've managed to rotate players over. And look at the reaction also from Pasha pushing the long position. And a lurk smoke came out from Gambit youngsters to keep the question of, hang on, we might just be chilling in the tunnels here. So you have to respect that and keep some players towards that B-bomb site. But maybe in seeing the AWP, they're going to realize that there's been a rotation. And Gambit youngsters have a straight shot to the A-bomb site through long. They don't know it just yet, but they'll soon find out. There's 50 seconds to go. So they're on a pretty good pace. Super, I think, is pretty important to offer up this flank. See how he does.
Unique repositioning to the site. I think they're getting the data, Unique, as to what to expect from Gambit youngsters. They're not going to be able to just push for free when there's action on the other side of the site. But there is a potential for something to be done here for Unique. There's time pressure for Gambit youngsters, but once again they're getting the frags. Robin forced back as he needs to reload. He's got Fnatic Rocker in a short position, but Supra with a perfectly played timing. Oh, that's a big burst from Fnatic Rocker, but 1 versus 3. I don't think he wants to go for it. He won't know how heavily tagged all these players are. But again, I think Unique trying to take liberties, making that push. They had to make a play in most cases because of the bad equipment and so on, but Gambit youngsters are ready for it. They've got that lurker there. They're keeping Unique honest. So it's good for Unique to learn these lessons early in this best of one. Okay, we can't take this for granted. We can't take as many liberties as we'd like to. They're actually more prepared than we expected. But also, I think it's pretty promising. The way Shiro peeked into double stack on the B bomb site, you can see him lining up his shot so he can just strafe into it, which is pretty cool. It shows his experience. He knows his angle as a sniper, and that's always really important. Just like if you see Kenny S, for example, creeping in Palace on Mirage, he will line up a peek towards jungle so he can just strafe into it. So that's a good indication as far as Gambit youngsters are concerned. And it seems like a good start for them.
Yeah, it's always cool to see teams, making sure that they always have a lurker no matter the situation. And it gives you options, and if something goes wrong. And it's always good for that plan B. I think Train is one of the most notable maps for that very fact. You go for that B push, you have your lurker towards T main perhaps, and then doesn't work out towards B. Okay, now he's actually crept out onto the A bomb side. Maybe got a pick as everybody rotates to B, and now you can quick rotate through pop.ladder to B. That's right, sorry. Like that's one of the more classic ones.
Look at this activity from Team Unique. Fnatic Rock has pushed up the short position with the AUG, and Fen Vicious, excuse me, has just walked into B, just walked through B halls because why not? I mean, he's got little to lose, and again, information is so valuable for Team Unique in a round such as this. So Fen Vicious, he won't cross to the part where he'll be seen from T spawn. He'll just allow his teammates to rotate and be the last man standing towards B bomb site. So Robin's taken that. We've got 1 flash towards the long position. You can see them moving in. The Fnatic Rockers there with the AUG, and we've got a wide swing from Passionage, good for 1 frag, but also he's seen 2 of the remaining 3 players. In the meantime, Fen Vicious moving towards that mid position. We've still got 2 players here, almost in a crossfire. There are Molotovs for Gambit youngsters. There comes the first one. There's a nice flick from Inters, and another rifle is collected to make them more nimble. We've got 40 seconds, so they're pretty much committed to A at this point. Again, no grenades, just deagles, and it's Undo on his own. Fen Vicious is still rotating a little slow, all things considered, so it's a 1 versus 3, which won't go so well. And I guess Fen Vicious has sacrificed his teammate to try and pick up a rifle. It might even be an AWP, he gets.
I was going to say, I was surprised that they swapped out the AWP there with the 3 versus 2. Fan Vicious gets the 1 dig, and all of a sudden he's picked up an AWP, and he might be thinking about going for this. He has Kevlar, no kid of course, but he is in such close proximity. If they offer him a peek and he hits a shot, all of a sudden things get very scary. And will they go for a coordinated double peek, or will they just hide the positions? Actually hit that shot onto Supra. Not bad, but they've given up the AWP, which is actually on Dust2 an enormous deal. You don't want to be giving up the AWPs. And yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if it's either the case that, you know, if you have like, let's say you got Guardian. I think Guardian's always like a really good example. You know, what would Guardian do? Guardian's never dropping the AWP, James.
That's true.
And I think that's you know, Guardian's an AWP specialist, and you know you have to have an AWP specialist on your team.
I don't think it's wrong that they dropped the AWP. I think it's bad they lost the AWP, but I can see why they did it. In case the team just do something crazy, try and use the numbers and cause some kind of bedlam anarchy situation running around. They want to be able to deal with it as best as possible at close to medium range, which would all be rifles. So that's fair enough. But I mean, there are different ways to try and protect the AWP, but that's all come and gone pretty quickly. And Team Unique have been taken by surprise. They're expecting a charge at the short position. This is a disaster for them, potentially. At least the start of it is. They've lost Passion Rush towards a long position as well. And Robin's surely going to get traded. Indeed he is. And surely that is the round over unless they are given something for free. 2 versus 4. And what a great play from Gambit Youngsters. Finally, Team Unique have their first full buy. And Gambit Youngsters just storm the A bomb site. And there's nothing they can do but turn around and run. You see it on different maps. You don't see it on Dust2 as much, where a site is just stormed like that when the CTs are in a brittle situation, but they were brittle and they have been broken. Team Unique, not really what they were expecting. I think they thought there'd be quite much an easier ride of this, just based on experience, looking at the interview, but that has not been the case just yet.
Yeah, that's very true. You know, things can quickly get out of hand on Dust2. If you have a bad start to your CT side, which is why I was kind of talking about that a little bit earlier, and even with the saved AWP, they were unable to really offer up that much in this round. And so if this continues for Gambit Youngsters, they're going to be having a fantastic first game here today so far. I think Dust2, again on the CT side, that you don't really have many aggressive options. So when you have those lower buys, it does feel like you're just sitting there waiting for your impending destruction at the hands of the T's. And oh, we might get a fast timing down middle or towards Catwalk here. I would love to see that. That's so fun to see. And I don't know that they've done that just yet. So you can see that in the setup that they have, its middle's completely open. And this is one of the reasons why it can be so strong, because you can get out really far, really deep. And if you get the pick, then you cause huge rotation issues to the CTs. But instead they'll go straight up towards Catwalk instead. Sure is looking for the angle meanwhile, but looks like he won't find anything just yet.
Smoke dropped by the CTs. Playing passive angles, they look vulnerable the way it's being played at the moment. We've got a Fnatic Rocker towards the car. No action towards long is likely. Again, snipers towards the A bomb site also have a job to flash for their teammates depending on their position, especially whoever's playing that long area, but that won't be an issue right now. Do they have any idea that Nafany's in CT spawn? I'm not quite sure, but you can see Robin repositioning, so perhaps. But he's in an awkward situation where he has no info. He can't have his players towards the B bomb site. There's a transfer, nice trade, nice transfer attempt. Not quite going to work out, and the position in CT is just going to shut it down. They've been outmaneuvered once again. Beautiful stuff, almost like a military drill, except somebody was on the receiving end of it, and there was nothing they could do. Team Unique have 2 players trying to save again, spread out. Fnatic Rocket down to 20 HP, but his arse is sticking out. Supra, why hasn't he shot him just yet? Does he want to knife him, perhaps? Is he some kind of pervert? We'll soon find out, or maybe we won't, because Fnatic Rocker's repositioning. Look at that dirty smile. Look, he's got some idea about him. Youngsters these days. Ooh. Do you know what? It's actually pretty hard to knife a player when you're standing on their head. It does fail a lot of the time, so I'm surprised he got that first shot.
Yeah, it was just a slice as well. It wasn't even a stab.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good stuff. And it's cool to see that they have this approach. You know, they're playing defaults right now, and it's always interesting to me because the classic decision making from the T side post default on Dust2 is you want to see what the CD setup is, and then that tells you where to go. So if you understand that the CD setup is that there's 3 on A, and the one is like, and you know that the third one that's on A is not playing from CT spawn.
152, man. Just shoot at 152. Damage is going to be done. Get that shot through the smoke. 152, baby. I feel like 30% or 40% of the time you're going to hit somebody by default, unless they, as if they don't delay purposefully. You're going to hit someone a lot of the time. I'd say 40% is a pretty good amount of time. Anyway, Passionage is holding an off angle towards the double doors. He's looking for somebody to walk out from lower tunnels so he can shoot them. Better to hold it with an AWP, but needs must. A 5-round lead for Gambit youngsters. Reminds me of the young Manchester United team from many years ago, where the infamous quote was, "You never win anything with youngsters." Took them for granted, and hey-ho, they won quite a lot, actually. Gambit youngsters, a team where there's practically no info on them. Looking good on Dust2 so far. There's time for Team Unique, though, to do something, to bring something back. They've tried to, well, they have overplayed their hands, but it hasn't really worked out for them, Team Unique. They've pushed, and Gambit youngsters have been ready for them. And now they find themselves with 2 rifles and 2 pistols, and another execute coming towards the A-bomb site.
Yeah, it's just interesting because it looks like they can even go with a fake with that one, just seeing what Nafani can get, and off the back of the flashbang, he's always getting everything. Great double entry from him, and that will definitely clear things up here towards this bomb site. But you know, I like that approach from Gambit youngsters. They kind of dumped their utility, kind of looked for the reaction, sent out 1 player ahead of the pack, and Undo will take down 1, but you can see that it's ultimately not really going to amount for too much. And
well, to your previous point about seeing the reaction, I think it's Passionage who had 1 of the 2 rifles, and he decided to turn his back on short and pull a smoke grenade out before being around the corner and just got shot in the back. That's one of the key weapons taken out with ease by Gambit youngsters, so Team Unique really needs to pull their socks up in this next buy round.
Oh, gotta be careful there. Don't want to give away too much here. Yeah, that will be 8-2 for Gambit youngsters, having a great performance so far, and I'm enjoying how methodical they are, because again, they're playing default Counter-Strike right now, and it's working out really nicely. And the only thing we haven't really seen, I mean, we've seen them go for A/B split, but you know, generally it's we haven't seen anything like super fast and explosive. Like we haven't actually seen that fast mid timing, which they can absolutely go for. I don't think.
What, from Gambit youngsters?
Yeah,
well, we saw the fast charge up short when Team Unique had 2 AWPs, and they shot the guy by car, and they had no idea what was going on.
On a fast mid timing. That's a different thing. That's a different thing, James.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. By the way, they'll go for the fast B. Contact B. Is it going to work out? Well, it looks like it's going to be a close one this time, but Nafani will get the swing frag, and that will absolutely secure the bomb site. Had Pasha been able to get that kill there, you know, he might actually be able to delay them for his teammates. But oh, that's actually a really nice kill there from Inters. It's actually deceptively difficult to get such a fast frag from that distance with the AK.
You wonder if, against an inexperienced team, leaving Dust2 open if it was a good idea.
It's
One
actually
of the simpler maps.
I've actually, I think I was having this discussion for Flarum because we started playing a bunch of CS because he just started playing again back before we started traveling. And he, you know, one of the maps he always wanted to leave in was Dust2, and I was saying, hey man, look, oh, I thought that was gonna be a double chase. But I had to say to him, like, look, dude, Dust2's not the same anymore. Dust2 used to be the pug map, but now the problem is no one knows how to play it. It's actually a map where there's you know, it's like a big reset button was pressed, and I find it very difficult to play in pugs because the CT sides are very delicate, and if you have a team that doesn't understand the basics, but behind playing CT sides, you can just get completely crushed, and then the game is just lost. And so we started vetoing it after having some games that clearly illustrated that problem. But Pug Counter-Strike is different. Team Counter-Strike, after all, and here comes an aggression on Catwalk, it looks like. there a flash for this? Or will it be a raw peak?
Very, very passive start from Gambit youngsters, changing the pace. Older than their years, I think it's fair to say. We've got Supra holding the B tunnel push from very, very far back. And indeed, it looks like they have conditioned Team Unique to calm down a little bit. But the trades are there as well in that short position. That looked good for Unique. I'm surprised they got the youngsters got the first frag, all things considered, walking into the angle like that. It's very surprising stuff. So I don't know if Unique have had their Weetabix today, or their Pop-Tarts, or their cheese hot dogs.
I think the closest player was kind of blocking his teammate by the stairs for that first player who was fragging him. I think that was one of the issues. Pasha, though, is looking to try to defend or offer up a defense, but the bomb site's now, it's just gone. There's no bomb site defense. Finvish is stuck behind the smokes, so that bomb site access is there for the T side. Gambit youngsters will take that, and I actually really enjoyed their trade spacing on the catwalk position. That's really easy to mess up. Trade spacing is so critical in this game, especially on a T side. It's so important, and they've been doing a great job with this so far. They're looking really methodical, James. I got to say, they're looking really clean in their basics. They're not doing anything complicated. They're just doing the basics pretty well.
Yeah, structurally they've looked solid as far as the basics are concerned, and shut down loads of these aggressions from Team Unique. I don't know how many good buys we've seen from Unique in this half. I don't feel like it's been many, despite Gambit youngsters having 10 rounds on the board. They haven't really been able to get anything going, Team Unique. Undo having to hold on to this AK-47, which he'll be able to do. Gambit youngsters. Shiro's got a clean $16,000, losing money by winning rounds. That's the level of success Gambit youngsters are having. So this looks like a shock to the system, at least for the first half. But now with only 3 rounds remaining, Unique have to just give themselves some space to not be completely reliant on winning a pistol when the second half comes around. So we'll have Fnatic Rocket with the AWP and nothing else, not even Kevlar.
Oh!
Okay, well, Fnatic Rocket's now dead. He is history. Crikey, bring out the body bags, because Gambit youngsters are not messing around. If Pashanoj picks up the timing, the AWP would have been seen collected if Nafani held the angle, but went for the safe option. That'll give Pashanoj an angle. So maybe there's something they can do, but I still feel like, oh, okay. The timing doesn't quite work out. Was there even a flashbang for that push through the smoke? Either way, Robin will take one out, and they'll go back to the well. Shiro is creeping, but is there a trade? Robin's not close enough to do it. Shiro would have been up for another shot, and there's a flank coming in Exile, so this is still all to do. Does he throw the bomb over? Are there grenades for him to cross? There's a flashbang. He could bounce off the wall. He will be throwing the grenade. I mean, the bomb, sorry.
He didn't. You can throw it further than that, James. Yikes.
I think the deep flash off the wall into CT would have been helpful. And now Shiro has no position. He's got an AK though, and he's got plenty of time. Now he figured out where the other player is. Around the smoke, over the car, running out of bullets. Almost the last bullet for that headshot. And there's still plenty of time to deal with Undo. Looking for the spray, and he's got it. No space for Unique. Gambit are all over this half.
That is awesome to see. I'm really happy we saw that, because so this is, I was going to say before that round sort of played out. Firstly, I've been impressed not with just the basics, but also the variety of rounds we've seen from Gambit youngsters. They've shown contact plays, they've shown more explosive plays, they've shown set pieces, they've threatened the A bomb site, then used that lurk smoke to then go for a B split and drop a player for a flank into CT spawn. Like, this is a great variety. Then we saw just now a pretty sick clutch. Like, that's one of the things we haven't really been in the position to see, but then we were now just in the position to see it, and it was delivered by Gambit Young. That's absolutely fantastic. And one thing that was interesting there, James, is they got that kill in mid, but it kind of seemed as though they didn't understand specifically how to respond, how they could best capitalize on it. They had a player kind of lurking out mid, and then everyone else was playing really slow towards long. And as you say, we didn't see a flashbang as they came out long. Like, it seemed, that was like one of the rounds where even though they got a kill immediately, they looked the most disjointed, as though they didn't have a plan, but they knew that they should be capitalizing somehow, but didn't quite understand how to do it in the best way.
Another situation for Unique where they don't quite have a full buy, but they have an aggressive position in that lower tunnel area, but there's a beautiful flashbang. Attention to detail from Gambit youngsters. Kind of learning about at least one part of their map pool here, because they are doing a lot of things right, a lot of the simple things right, and that seems to be enough at the moment. Not really felt a strong challenge from Team Unique just yet. Axel has been taken out, however. See his body lying in the corner very uncomfortably. Fenvicious waiting for a flashbang. Passionage is holding one for him as well on the A-bomb site, but he's got no sound cues just yet. Okay, there we go. There's a flash. Well, he picked good enough timing. It'll be a Molotov first. There's a flash behind it. Will he look into the corner, though? Does he take it for granted? Oh, it could be a nasty surprise, but Nafani's just staring at the floor, and there's two. Maybe it's a third round for Unique. 5 versus 1. Surely this is their round.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Dust2 is the map where you can get a 1v5, like in a situation like that with an AWP, but obviously it's not going to work. It's still not going to work out very, very often, indeed. So yeah, a desperate third round finally picked up by Team Unique, with 4 being the best possible score that they can attain. Gambit youngsters still have them against the ropes on this first half, and if not for Fenvicious striking back so violently here, and they would be in so much more trouble. And it's he found a pretty good timing to push Catwalk there. It was a very brave push, risky one, but it worked out so well. And wow, look at this. Rush into the B-bomb site, no messing around here. AWP shotgun coming into play, and there is 2 players here to deal with this. However, 2 versus 3 now as the entries have been found. Smoke on the doors. Molotov in the window. A chance perhaps. Oh, so blind. Oh my god. Super actually gets that headshot.
He does not survive, though. 2 HP is enough for the shrapnel to do the job. There's a minute 20, so much time for Axel. He's got a 1 versus 1 if he goes through, because he's falling back, Passionage. Looked like he was going towards the tunnel, but he goes back just in time to secure that 4th round at half-time.
Yeah, great effort there from the likes of Gambit youngsters. Cannot wait to see if they can finish things off on the second half, or if a comeback is to be made by Unique. We'll find out soon. And we're back. We have to see now if Gambit youngsters have the skill and the focus to absolutely smash Team Unique here. They have the opportunity to do it. They've earned themselves that right with such a dominant first half, but they have to, of course, win that pistol and follow through from that point forwards. And the CT side is extremely different on the likes of Dust2. I mean, it's obviously every half is very different in contrast, whether you're playing the defense or the offense. But ultimately on Dust2, you know, you have so few options. You're much more reactive. So we'll have to see how they play when the game is changed in that way for them against the likes of Unique, who absolutely, I'm sure, James, can create a very similar performance on their T side as to what we just saw from Gambit youngsters.
Well, it starts with the pistol, and they're moving into the B bomb site. They're all here, jumping around, trying to avoid Supra. So far, so good. There's some counter flashes, but will they buy any headshots? Just not time is needed. They need more than that. Supra does good so far, but it is a pistol round, and it will be an exchange. It's very quick. The B bomb site is taken 3 versus 3. Shura looking for an opportunity. No more grenades for the CT side. Axel not quite committing just yet. Fnatic Rocker is looking from time to time. There's the safer bomb plant. Rocker taken out. He was pretty much in the red. There's a big shot from Shiro again. Okay, then. Quick 3K from him, and he will have the luxury of the CT angles to come with the AWP, which I'm sure will be just around the corner. Pretty solid for Gambit youngsters. Great way for them to start the CT side, and it seems there'll be no relief for their opponent. Not just yet.
Yeah, at the very least, you know, they did get the bomb down. They're on the T side. They got lots of options here. You know, I think going for a force buy would be a pretty smart move, just because, you know, they're going to go for the force buy, but they don't have too much utility. I was going to say, you know, one round that you can probably get away with here is that classic short rush, where you have the utility, you get the short plant, and you cause problems for the CT. It's very hard to defend it if you're not expecting it. Oh, nice pop flash from Fenvicious. That was very cool. I don't know if I've seen that one before. But yeah, we see them making their way up towards the catwalk position. And again, you know, if you have a couple grenades here, it is hard for the CTs to defend you and stop you from getting to that short plant position. And so I'm liking that Team Unique are converging on catwalk at this point to go for that attack.
Grenade starting to stream in. Pashinoj has made his way to Gandalf and has made his way beyond. Shiro's in a little trouble here. He has no help, no support from his team whatsoever. Inter's focusing on long. Everybody else out of position, and maybe that rifle can be retrieved. That could potentially be disastrous. Retake mostly from CT spawn is a pretty horrible situation. They're going to need to rely on Inters, but he's only got a UMP, and he is soon to be flanked as well. Really nasty spot if you can't take short. It really helps the players who don't have as good equipment as you do. The grenades continue to stream in as a high flash. Inters makes his way from that long position. The flank is coming in way too slow with Undo on the Galil. Fnatic Rocker's on short with the scouts. Maybe they should be the other way around, but there's a Galil showing. Doesn't last very long, leaving Fnatic Rocker on short. They've only got one kill in this round so far. I'd expect more in the situation. Lots in the red, but only one dead. And that really isn't the result they were maybe looking for. They did plant the bomb, however, so it could have been worse.
So a couple of things there. It looks like that was actually a retake smoke. Like, it seemed like, I don't know if there was like a specific lineup on that or something. I would be impressed if that was, because I don't think I've seen anyone try to throw a retake smoke to that position quite like that before. But the other thing that was interesting as well is that, as I mentioned, if you ever suspect a force buy on Dust2, that round is by far the most likely round that happens. And it's so interesting to me still how often I see CT sides not prepared at all to defend against a short plant play such as that. And we could see that Gambit youngsters were incredibly out of position, and it's so successful. But they were unable to defend it. But here comes the push up middle. See if they can get some better luck here. As Pasha tries to go in, but Supra finds a fantastic angle with the Galil, and there's just too much damage. What is this?
Good spatial awareness from Super. Expected the push from the tunnel. Couldn't do anything about it, but his teammates will clean up the job. And this is all Gambit youngsters. This is a very lopsided affair we're seeing on Dust2 at the moment. Maybe it's a warning to the other teams in this group. 14-4. Gambit youngsters charging towards the finish line. And maybe we won't see too much of Super on the CT side of the AWP, but we certainly will on this round. You can see nice release of energy there. All right, 14-4. We've got a deep smoke in CT for the CTs to cross, the usual stuff. And it's Unique's turn to have a fast play towards a short position. But do they stop here? Or do they rest card towards the A bomb site? It seems they try to, but Shiro's waiting. Unchallenged by flashbangs. Fenvicious is taken away. We've got Pashinoj spotting the smoke, the shadow. And yeah, he's able to finish off in the Fanny, but at the cost of his own life. Super still trying to hold down the B bomb site from both directions. Scope in, out, but he'll finish off Undo and smoke off the choke point or flash it. Pretty good job for him. There's a smoke in CT spawn, so Super is still alone for the time being. And again, they try to pinch him, but where is he? He's got a good position. Oh, he looked away at the wrong time, and he's not going to get anything else out of this. An upgrade in terms of a rifle. That bomb needs to get planted, and Robin's got a lot of work to do. I
wonder if Inters knows the retake. Molly's here. Although that said, with that frag onto Robin, it's going to be very difficult for Fnatic Rocker getting a very important 1D. Needs a couple more of those, and he won't be able to find it. Axial, we have to take him down, and once again, Gambit youngsters will survive. They look more confident, they look more skilled at this point, and they look more together as a team. Kind of winning in every category at this point over their opponents, and I'm looking forward to seeing that continue. I think you know, the confidence that they're playing with is pretty telling as well as to, you know, the result here. And you can see Shiro easily defending this very fast push. It's a good adjustment from Unique to try to find an opening elsewhere, but yeah, Gambit youngsters, they just look like just better in every sense right now.
Better at everything.
Here comes a pick attempt from Team Unique, but looks like Shiro is the one to find a pick up from Catwalk into mid.
Look at that peak on the radar, all the way up the short position, and that is a very meaty grenade as well. Followed up with a spray. Super has been so strong on his B bomb site in a few rounds. We've seen it this half. The cavalry is here as well. They're being trampled by the horses, and just like that, Gambit youngsters will stop any chance of a comeback in this game. 16-4, absolute brutality. Marvelous stuff from the young lads.
Yeah, it's really impressive. It's that's the energy of the youth is prevailing here. That's absolutely for sure, and it's really good to see as well, because as I mentioned in that first half, they kind of showed us great variety. They showed us one of the most important things they showed us was great trade spacing. That's so important when you're playing a T-side. It's a must. It's an absolute must. And some teams really mess it up. And they showed us a great variety of rounds as well. There's only one round really where it seemed like they didn't quite know what to do in the situation. And that was the round where they got that pick on the gap shot at the beginning of the round. Otherwise, they had plans. They showed us pretty much everything that you can expect from a Dust2 game. So yeah, that's really exciting. How cool is it when you get to see the youngsters, you know, quite literally in this case, as that's what their team name is, effectively, doing so well in the game of Counter-Strike, and doing it not just for individual skill, but team play and strategy as well.
Some of these players don't look old enough to ride a bicycle on that Gambit squad.
I learned to ride a bicycle when I was 4 years old, James. I don't know about you. So
that doesn't mean you looked old enough then. But thank you for your point. Anyway, Gambit youngsters with that's a huge statement-making game. From the interviews, it really looked like they were taken for granted there, but they just like been spanking them asses, man. That was, I don't even know what to say about Unique. I don't know that we were allowed to see anything from them on either half or pretty much any round. I have no idea what the 4 rounds they won were. I have no idea. I have no recollection. It was just all Gambit youngsters. And I think Sue is with the Gambit youngsters, so she can get some more out of them. Cheers.
Very much. Congratulations. It was a very convincing victory for you guys. I know your team has not played Unique before, so did you expect that it would be as easy as it was?
No, I didn't expect that easy, but we felt like pretty confident against them. So.
Well, it clearly showed. It was a 16-4 scoreline. I know recently Axial just joined your team. What has that process been like, incorporating him into the team?
I mean, we practiced like 4 months with him. We were practicing in Moscow for 1 month in boot camping, and
everything's fine. We're just working on it. It's okay.
Awesome. Well, it's clearly showing, at least in this first map. And now, moving forward, you're going to be playing Fours. Fours has been looking really good. What are your thoughts on them?
we can beat them. Yeah, we can.
They're strong, of course. The game will show how it is.
Sounds great. Well, that will be the next match. Congratulations once again. Back to you guys.
Feeling confident.